In gratitude we offer this incense. Throughout space and time to all Buddha and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful effort, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. the one who bows and the one who is bowed to, are both by nature empty. Therefore the communication between them is inexpressibly perfect. Our practice center is a net of Indra, reflecting all Buddhas everywhere. And with my person in front of each Buddha, I go with my whole life for refuge. Offering light in the 10 directions. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, to whom we bow in gratitude. Teaching and living the way of awareness in the very midst of suffering and confusion. Shakyamuni Buddha, the fully enlightened one, to whom we bow in gratitude. Mother of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all beings, nourishing, holding, and healing all. Bodhisattva Gaya, Great Mother, precious jewel of the cosmos, to whom we bow in gratitude. Showing the way fearlessly and compassionately, the stream of all our ancestral teachers, to whom we bow in gratitude.
Good morning, dear respected dear noble community. This morning we will recite the 5 mindfulness trainings in English. Thank you.
Namo tassa Insight that brings us to the other shore. Practicing deeply with the insight that brings us to the other shore. Suddenly discover that
Sangha Kamang Rosijo.
Has the entire community assembled?
Yes, the entire community has assembled.
Is there harmony in the community?
Yes, there is harmony.
Is there anyone not able to be present who has asked to be represented? And have they declared themselves to have done their best to study and practice the mindfulness trainings?
No, there is not.
What is the reason for the community assembling today?
The community has assembled today to practice the recitation of the 5 mindfulness trainings.
Noble community, please listen. Today, the 10th of November, the year 2020, has been declared to be the 5 mindfulness trainings recitation day. The community has assembled at the appointed time and is ready to hear and to recite the mindfulness trainings in an atmosphere of harmony. Thus, the recitation can proceed. Is this statement clear and complete?
Clear and complete.
Dear Sangha, this is the moment when we enjoy reciting the 5 mindfulness trainings together. The 5 mindfulness trainings represent the Buddhist vision for a global spirituality and ethics. They are a concrete expression of the Buddha's teachings on the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, the path of right understanding and true love, leading to healing, transformation, and happiness for ourselves and for the world. To practice the 5 mindfulness trainings is to cultivate the insight of interbeing, or right view, which can remove all discrimination, intolerance, anger, fear, and despair. If we live according to the 5 mindfulness trainings, we are already on the path of a bodhisattva. Knowing we are on that path, we are not lost in our confusion about our life, in the present or in fears about the future. Please listen to each mindfulness training with a serene mind. Breathe mindfully and answer yes silently every time you see that you have made an effort to study, practice, and observe the mindfulness training right. The first mindfulness training, reverence for life. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of the life, I am committed to cultivating the insight of interbeing and compassion, and learning ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and our earth. I am determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to support any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. Seeing that harmful actions arise from anger, fear, greed, and intolerance, which in turn come from dualistic and discriminative thinking, I will cultivate openness, non-discrimination, and non-attachment to views in order to transform violence, fanaticism, and dogmatism in myself and in the world. This is the first of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past 2 weeks?
The second mindfulness training, true happiness. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I am committed to practicing generosity in my thinking, speaking, and acting. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. and I will share my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. I will practice looking deeply to see that the happiness and suffering of others are not separate from my own happiness and suffering. That true happiness is not possible without understanding and compassion, and that running after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures can bring much suffering and despair. I am aware that happiness depends on my mental attitude and not on external conditions, and that I can live happily in the present moment simply by remembering that I already have more than enough conditions to be happy. I am committed to practicing right livelihood so that I can help reduce the suffering of living beings, stop contributing to climate change, and heal and preserve our precious planet. This is the second of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past 2 weeks?
The third mindfulness training, true love. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I am committed to cultivating responsibility and learning ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. Knowing that sexual desire is not love, and that sexual activity motivated by craving always harms myself as well as others, I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without true love and a deep long-term commitment made known to my family and friends. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. Seeing that body and mind are in unison, I am committed to learning appropriate ways to take care of my sexual energy and cultivating loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness, which are the 4 basic elements of true love, for my greater happiness and the greater happiness of others. Practicing true love, I know that I will continue beautifully in the future. This is the third of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past 2 weeks?
The 4th mindfulness training, loving speech and deep listening. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I am committed to cultivating loving speech and compassionate listening in order to relieve suffering and promote reconciliation and peace in myself and among other people, ethnic and religious groups, and nations. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I am committed to speaking truthfully, using words that inspire confidence, joy, and hope. When anger is manifesting in me, I am determined not to speak. I will practice mindful breathing, and walking in order to recognize my anger and look deeply into its roots, especially in my wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in myself and in the other person. I will speak and listen in a way that can help myself and the other person to release suffering and see the way out of difficult situations. I am determined not to spread news that I do not know to be certain, and not to utter words that can cause division or discord. I will practice right diligence to nourish my capacity for understanding, love, joy and inclusiveness, gradually transform anger, violence and fear that lie deep in my consciousness. This is the fourth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice and observe it during the past 2 weeks?
The fifth mindfulness training, nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption. I'm committed to cultivating good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will practice looking deeply into how I consume the 4 kinds of nutrients, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I am determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products which contain toxins, such as certain websites, electronic games, music, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I will practice coming back to the present moment, to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back into the past, nor letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I'm determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate into being and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well-being in my body and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. This is the fifth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past 2 weeks? Dear Sangha, we have recited the 5 mindfulness trainings, the foundation of happiness for the individual, family, and society. We should recite them regularly so that our study and practice of the mindfulness trainings can deepen day by day.
Reciting the trainings, practicing the